Hi guys, my name is Emma.
And I'm Andy.
And today we are doing something a little bit different again on my channel. So we are picking TBRs for each other. So previously on this channel I've had my dad pick a mystery TBR and I've had my mum pick a TBR from her bookshelves, but today what we're doing is we are swapping 5 books that we've kind of picked for each other. So if you've been on my channel for a while, you know I tend to read things like magical realism, a little bit of contemporary, some fantasy, whole sort of collection of weird non-fiction stuff. And what do you read?
I read biographies and thrillers and sport books.
Yes, a lot of biographies.
Some of which you might like.
Some of which. I have actually borrowed Andy's books before in the past, just like not specifically on this channel. Like you've given me books and I've read them, and sometimes
a lot of the ones I wanted to give you, you already read.
Yay. And I raid your bookshelves far more often than you raid mine.
Well, what does that tell you?
So what we have done is we have picked 5 books for each other. We don't know what they are yet, and we're just going to take it in turns to kind of pull them out of the bag and give them to the other person and say why we have picked them and what they are, and then we will both read them in the month of February, and we'll come back at the end and let you know our thoughts. So, do you want to go first or shall I?
Ladies first.
Ladies first. I'm also sat on his lap because our height difference is so absurd that it's the only way that we could film. Right. Okay. Technically my first one's kind of cheating. So
it's not a good start.
I know. I couldn't decide between 2.
You had to pick 5 books. I've picked 5 books. How hard is it to work that out?
I can't decide between 2, so I'm just going to let you pick between them. So it is Station 11 by Emily St. John Mandel and The Gargoyle by Andrew Davidson. Both are like my all-time favourite books, and I just couldn't decide. So this one is a dystopian fiction about a flu epidemic, and this one is a guy who goes through a car accident and is horrendously burned, but it ends up turning his life around in funky, slightly magical ways.
So both favourites, but not worth 2 slots.
No, because I had other things I wanted to give you. What have you got for me?
Okay, in my bag, the first book I have is, rather unsurprisingly, I Am Zlatan. We have a rabbit called Zlatan, so since then I've wanted Emma to read about Zlatan Ibrahimovic. I have the book here. There you go.
Excellent. This is actually the book that sparked this idea. Andy's been wanting me to read this book for months.
A year.
A year since we got the rabbit. And I rebel against it because I don't really like biographies normally, so it's not a surprise that this one is on the list, but hopefully I will enjoy it.
Yeah. And it's quite short, so you'll read it really quickly.
It is quite short. It is quite short. Right.
Yeah.
My next one for you is haha! Also a biography. David Attenborough's Life on Air.
Well, I've wanted to read that since you got it, so yeah.
I remember. Right, what's next for me?
This is actually one that Emma bought me.
Oh, interesting.
So this is a thriller by Robert Harris. See that? This is called Munich. It's set just before the Second World War, and Emma bought it for me, and I'd like her to read it.
Fab. That sounds cool. I've never read about Harris.
After she bought me these, I went out and bought 4 or 5 more, so I definitely enjoyed it, and hopefully you will as well.
Excellent. Book 2. Okay, book 3 for you is...
That's my bag.
That is your bag. Sorry. I'll find my bag. We know what we're doing. Yeah.
I do. Some of us prepared for this.
Is The Northern Lights by Philip Pullman. My favourite book as a kid. It is book 1 of a trilogy, so if you do enjoy it, there are 2 more in the series that you can take on. Parallel universe to our own, with a world where you have like an animal that represents your soul. Fairly well known.
Yeah.
But yes, and you said that you didn't think that you'd read this.
I don't think that I've read this. I recognise it, I've definitely seen it, I definitely know people who have read it, but I don't think I've read it, so I'll read it. Pop it on my pile.
I'm getting confused easily, aren't I? It's okay, normally I just forget books in my videos as well.
Okay. This one's from my childhood. I recently rediscovered these Biggles books. This is Biggles Flies East. So this is about a fighter pilot, probably just after the First World War, but he's got a phenomenal record of flying from the early First World War to after the Second World War. fantastic, not at all realistic in that sense, but brilliant to read. There you are.
Thank you very much. And if I like this one, we have about 27 more.
20 more.
Give or take, so plenty to keep me going, which is excellent.
Although he wrote over 100, so I've not really got started
So
yet.
you've barely scratched the
Barely
surface.
scratched the
Biggles.
surface.
That's your bag again as well. Keep doing this. Sorry. Okay, my next one is Catch 22 by Joseph Heller. So figured I'd chuck in a classic for you there. This is a fairly iconic book, fairly well known. It is set in the Second World War, and it is the surrealist, absurdist humour of Joseph Heller, and it reminded me a crazy amount of MASH, which is the TV show that we watch together all the time. For those of you at home who don't know, but they might not know that. It's a great TV show. You should watch it if you haven't watched it already. So it's good fun, and I think you expressed an interest in reading it. So
Even better.
that's always good. That one. My turn.
Shall we see what's next?
My turn.
Is this more fun than Christmas?
No.
It's getting that way. Okay, this one you might not have expected. This is called The Great Leader and the Fighter Pilot.
Ooh,
So, see, she didn't expect that one.
that's exciting.
So this is a story of a fighter pilot who escapes North Korea, but also the story of how North Korea's dictatorship got started simultaneously. This reads like a thriller. Emma was interested in reading at least one thriller, so you can see here it reads like a thriller according to the Financial Times. So there you are, there is a thriller.
Excellent, because I am doing a thriller-a-thon in February, so keep an eye out for that. And if you don't know what it is, I'll link it down below. It's awesome. So this will be great for that readathon, which is wonderful. Okay, and the last one that I
Even though you've already given me 5.
because you're picking between the first two, is we will find out. We got it. Haha! Child 44 by Tom Rob Smith. So this is a thriller. It is set in Russia, in Moscow in 1953, according to the back. I don't just have a brilliant memory. And oh, it's ruining my light because it's white. There we go. We have to move it back here, or else in the sun it's fighting things. And actually, Andy had a book recently that had on the front one of those little kind of fake stickers that said "Better than Child 44." So I want you to read the shit version of the book that you read. So
you want me to read this because it's not quite as good as the book that I read?
It's quite as good, well, as the book claims, but you said that book was bloody weird.
Which was that Moscow?
Yes, it had a skinned cat.
It had a skinned dead cat in the
this
first
one
chapter.
Doesn't have any skinned dead cats, I don't think.
Spoiler!
So yeah, so those are the ones that I want you to read. What is my last one?
So your last one, any guesses?
No. Maybe.
Any ideas?
A football one? You haven't given me a football one other than Zlatan yet, have you?
What more football could you want than Zlatan? Zlatan not enough football for you?
You have like a huge Colin Powell book as well, which I'm kind of hoping you haven't given me, because it's huge.
Do you not like big books? All the books I've given you are tiny.
Yeah, I've given you some not insignificant ones, but nothing terrifying.
Okay. This is a biography
Okay.
of an Olympic gold medalist.
Just show me the damn book. Stop trying to build the suspense.
So this is Kurt Angle. It's true. Olympic gold medalist. This is, according to my dad, the book I have reread the most times in my entire life.
Okay.
I'm not entirely sure that's factually accurate, but he says I have reread this dozens and dozens of times.
Okay.
So I thought you should read it once. It is a biography.
Cool.
Emma doesn't like biographies, so this was an important opportunity to get her to read a biography or two.
I don't mind them.
This is a non-football one, so it's different from Mr. Zlatan. And I've read it a lot, so here you go.
Excellent. Well, that is. Shall we show off our stacks? So these are the books that I'm giving Andy. Whoa.
Can't see that.
Ta-da!
You'll notice there are only 5 in this stack.
These
I was told to
books.
pick 5. I picked 5.
That Andy is giving to me. Excellent. We did decide to pull off a couple of extras just in case we got through our pile, because we both can comfortably read more than 5 books in a month. So we have like a few little extra ones.
Do you want to show me the extras?
Which we're just going to kind of cover now. Well, I figured whichever one of the Station 11, the Gargoyle, that you decide not to pick as you'd prefer, you could always read the other one as well if you get through the other 5. And then I have 2 more for you. The Secret Barrister, which I read very recently, and is a look at the justice system in the UK from the point of view of a barrister, which is good fun. And
it's a rip-off of The Secret Footballer.
Of course.
Which started this genre.
But
go on.
And lots of white books, which is causing issues with filming. This is Flatland, A Romance of Many Dimensions, by apparently a Square. It's actually by Edwin Abbott. This is a book from Victorian era, which is in theory a bit of a discussion about like a universe which is populated by 2-dimensional beings, and then
flat.
Yes, and then a 3-dimensional being, a cube, comes into it and shakes things up. But it's actually mainly a thinly veiled discussion about social construction and people's places in society. And the Victorians were very big on like your features determining basically if you were a criminal or not. It was that time period where like the shape of your skull would indicate if you were a sociopath, which is not a thing. And this kind of has a lot of that propaganda through it. What are my extra ones?
Okay, well I have more extra ones because I narrowed it down to 5. So, just very quickly, we'll go through them. This is a football book I read recently called The Mixer, which is a history of Premier League football, sort of year by year. This is another thriller.
I bought you that.
The $1 Billion Spy. Emma did buy me this. This is a historical account of a German sniper. Still got the price on there.
Good old
we were both very cynical about this book to begin with, because the first few pages were just him describing some fairly routine kills in the field.
Is this the one with the numbers in it?
Yes, and so he killed something like 250 people in his career, and it was just a sentence followed by a number. A man walked out of a barn. 1.
That sounds like a really shit joke.
After a couple of pages of that, there began to be more of a plot.
Wasn't just
you started to move around a bit more. You started to get a wider feel of what was going on.
Such a big collection of books on my desk right now. You got it.
Yep. And lastly, this is a biography of a man who's done everything.
We love Arnie!
Total Recall.
Arnie's babe.
So this differs from most sporty biographies because it's a lot longer. Because he's that bit older and has done that many things that a biography actually has a bit of meat to it. So I considered giving Emma this one. And if she has time or wants to read a proper biography, she can move on to that. But she needs to start with the baby-sized ones first.
I do read biographies occasionally. I've given you a biography. I read David Attenborough's one.
I've seen that you've owned it. I've never seen you read it.
I read it. I have read it.
But
anyway, we have finished. So, those are the books that we are giving each other to read, and we will check back in at the end of the month to let you know what we thought about them, and hopefully we've picked ones that we will actually like for each other, rather than just sort of shafting each other with horrible stuff. I will chat to you guys soon in my next video. Happy reading, have a wonderful week, and I'll see you soon. Bye!
Bye-bye!